Hi everyone, good day. Hello. Things are going to happen in this book. I don't know what they are. This is chapter 13 of Ella Enchanted. It is for one of my favorite people in the entire universe, Jesse. Hi Jesse, who I just saw, got to hang out with, and you didn't. Maybe you did. I don't know. It's not the point. Chapter 13 of Ella Enchanted, I'm doing it. There's probably going to be more fake languages I don't understand. I slipped through the sleeping house as silently as a needle through lace. Outside, I waved farewell to the sleeping topiary. As I walked the skylighting, on the edge of Jen, I gave a baker the first sale of the day, 2 currant muffins and 2 loaves of traveler's bread in exchange for Hattie's wig, which he declared the finest he'd ever seen. He'd never heard of Waxy, but said there was several giants' farms up north. I hear they bake cookies as wide as my waist, he said. He drew a map for me in flour on his pastry board. The road would fork after I left Jen. The right-hand fork led back to Frau. The left fork was the one I wanted. My first landmark would be the Elves' Forest. After the forest, I would come to another fork. The road to the left, which I was not to take, led to the fens where the ogres lived. The road on the right would take me to the giants. When the cows became as big as barns, I would be there. That other fork, it's going to happen. The road, it's something that's going to happen. It didn't seem far on the pastry board. My fingers could travel the distance in a trice. The baker thought the trip would take 5 or 6 days by coach. Well, how long do you think it would take to walk? Walking? He started to laugh. On foot, alone, with ogres and bandits roaming the road. Beyond Jen, I left the road, following it, but too far away to be seen from it. I didn't fear pursuit by Madame Edith, who would probably conceal my disappearance for as long as possible in hopes I might return. The baker's worries about ogres and bandits I thought exaggerated, since a solitary traveler would hardly be worthwhile prey. However, I was wary of strangers. With my curse, I had to be. I wondered if I would meet Char on his way to the fens. I liked thinking he might be near, but whether he was ahead of me or behind, or whether he had taken this route at all, I had no idea, and I wish my magic book had told me more. The road was little trafficked, and I was too happy about my escape to feel much fear. I was free of orders. If I wanted to eat my breakfast under a maple tree and watch the day grow between its leaves, I could, and did. If I wanted to skip or hop or run and slide on dew-wet leaves, I could, and did. And when the mood took me, I whistled or recited poems that I made up on the spot. Okay, I love this, and I have a thing I need to talk about. Anyway, I spent 2 glorious days this way, the best since before Mother had died. I saw deer and hares, and once at twilight I swear I saw phoenix rise, trailing smoke. Oh my god! I love that, by the way. On the 3rd day, I began to despair about reaching the giants in time. I hadn't even come to the elves' forest. If I had any chance of getting to the wedding, I should have passed the forest on the 2nd day, unless the baker had been mistaken about the distance from the forest to the giants. Perhaps they were much closer to each other than he thought. On the 4th day, I finished my last bit of traveler bread. The land changed to sandy fields and low scrub, and I began to despair about reaching the giants before the newlyweds celebrated their 1st anniversary. On the 5th day, I knew I was doomed to wander in endless barrens till I died. Oh my god! Why is this getting so bleak so fast? On the 6th day, there were no more trees, but I was 2 days by hunger to realize their significance. I was searching the ground for the lacy flowers of the wild carrot when I caught a shift in the shadows ahead of... Oh no. What's there? A flash of motion among the tree trunks. A deer, a walking bush. There, I saw it again. An elf. Are they good? This could go either way. Cummac Ims Poud, I called. It meant sun and rain, or hello, an Elfian. Cummac Ims Poud. An elf woman approached me hesitantly. Her robe was woven in a dappled pattern, the shadow of leaves on the forest floor. Speak Elfian? Yungar. A little. I tried to smile at her, but her expression was so solemn I couldn't. Af enk poel? She asked. Doc enk Ella, Jort hooks, Sir Peter hooks Frau. I wondered if she knew father. Sir Peter. Waret Len. Her tone was dismissive. Oh, God. It has to be the same elves that Sir Peter dealt with. It has to be. Why else would she be dismissive after hearing that name? She stepped closer and stared at me. I met her gaze and hoped I didn't seem watil, sly, too. Oh, sly. Oh, God. Her eyes poured into me. I was sure she knew every one of my unkind thoughts, knew about the theft of Hattie's wig, knew each time I'd made my finishing school mistresses uncomfortable, and knew I hadn't had a bath since I'd left Jen. I don't think that last one is, reflects on her character, but still. Mondlen. She smiled and took my hand. Her fingers felt waxy like a leaf. Not like father. Oh my god. She led me to Slanen, the elves' chief trader, who spoke Kyrian fluently. He was the one father had mentioned in his letter. He confirmed that the baker's map was accurate. I didn't say anything, but my face must have shown how bitter my disappointment was. You will join your father at the giant's farm? He asked. I nodded. But I'm not hurrying to him, I blurted, then stopped. You seek something else from the giants. His amber eyes searched my face. Someone I must find. I must find her. Slannon patted my arm. Elves will help. In the morning you will see, but you must spend the night as our guest. He smiled, showing pale green teeth. I love how different these elves are. This is so rad. I smiled back, reassured, although one wouldn't expect green teeth to be reassuring. The elves were the same height as humans, with their mossy hair and green skin tinged with orange for the coming autumn. That's amazing. They were no more frightening than a pumpkin vine. And now, please join us for our evening meal. We sat at a table with 12 elves who knew only a little Kyrian, but with my bit of Elfian and gestures and laughter, we cobbled together a language understood by all. Their supper was more drink than meal. The appetizer was lemon parsnip snoop. Oh, that sounds so good. Followed by turtle barley soup, the main course, succeeded by a soup of chopped raw green vegetables, the salad course. Dessert was a fruit soup. It was all delicious, even though my jaw wished for something to chew on. When we finished eating, Slannon said the owls liked to sleep soon after nightfall. He led me to my sleeping place. We passed the elves' nursery, where clusters of small hammocks hung from trees like bunches of grapes. Two adult elves, one with a flute and one singing, threaded their way through, the singer occasionally rocking a group of hammocks gently. When we reached the oak from which my hammock hung, I asked for a lantern to read by. What book is better than sleep when the sun goes down? Slannon asked, calling for a light. I'd been afraid to show Mandy's present to anyone since Hattie had taken Mother's necklace, but now I produced it from my carpet bag. Slannon opened it. The Shoemaker and the Elves returned as the first story. He roared with laughter. We're so tiny in here, the elves can fit inside a shoe. He looked through the rest of the book, admiring the illustrations and reading parts of different stories. Then he turned back to the Shoemaker and the Elves, but it was gone. In its place was a story about a walrus and a camel. Fairy maid, he cried. This is precious. It must give you much comfort. He returned it to me. Do not read too late. You have a long journey tomorrow. Oh. After 2 stories, I blew out my light. The night was clear, my ceiling was sky, and an eyelash of a moon. By shifting from side to side, I made my hammock swing me into sleep. It's so nice. A nice thing happened. In the morning, Slannon asked me to show my book to the other elves. To them, it was written in Elfian. They were enchanted and might have read all day, except that Slannon stopped them. You have given us much pleasure, he said, and now I'd like to show you something wonderful, too. He lifted several packages onto the table he used to display goods for trading. Then he began to remove their oak leaf wrappings. Are these by Aguilin? I asked when a bit of pottery emerged. You've heard of him, Slannon said, sounding pleased. Yes, he made them. A nut dish was unwrapped first, modeled in the shape of a centaur. It rested on the table but was in motion nonetheless. More than in motion, the centaur was motion. His head thrust into the wind, his arms hugged his form, his mane and tail streamed back, and without moving, such was Aguilin's skill, his legs beat the ground. That is incredible! Next came a dragon-shaped coal scuttle that glowed gold and orange. Somehow the air shimmered around its foot-long flame. Its ruby eyes were windows to an interior furnace. I was afraid to touch the beast for fear of being scorched. But my favorite was a stirrup cup molded in the shape of a wolf's head and shoulders, with the head lifted and the mouth pulled into an O for a long howl. The ridges in the pottery of for his fur were so fine that each hair was defined. I felt the tension in his shoulders where the cup ended, and I imagined the rest of him sitting, but erect, with excitement running through him from his big paws to the end of his plumy tail. That is an amazing paragraph. I loved his howl, which I could both hear and feel, long and plaintive, woebegone and heartsore, filled with yearning for what used to be and for what would never come again. I'm getting emotional over pottery. Oh my God. He's beautiful. They're all beautiful. They don't look as though someone made them. They look born. Slannon began to wrap the pieces up again. I hated to let them go. Wrap this one last, please. I touched the wolf's nose. When he finished, Slannon handed the package with the wolf to me. It's for you. Father had made clear that an Aguilin was worth a great deal. I can't accept such a valuable gift, I said in my best manners mistress manner, but my hands closed around it. You have, Slannon said, smiling. We like to give our best pieces away sometimes when we find people who love them. Thank you. Don't cry. Slannon gave me a green handkerchief. He looked at me consideringly. Sir Peter is a witty man and a shrewd trader, but if he had admired our things as you do, we would have been gladder to let him have them. Oh, I love it. I love it. But he told me that you were the best potters. He should have told us. How can I exchange this gnomish copper stewpot for 2 such paltry vases, he'd say. Their workmanship doesn't compare, he'd say. Whoosh. And Father had thought Slannon a poor trader. My gift was packed on a fat pony along with enough food to last until I reached my destination. More elvish generosity, although the pony was alone. Vibo Passato, Slannon said in parting. Stay in the shade. With any luck you will reach the giants in 3 or 4 days. But I had no luck. No. No, everything was nice. That's why I should have known everything was nice. It's gonna not be nice. Okay, I'm gonna go read chapter 14 in another video.